None in this republic knows how many vehicles we have it already on electricity. Nobody knows. Even the police, they don't know what's in detail, how many EV cars or bicycle cars we have already. In Jakarta itself, we have around more than 20,000 angkot.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
In Jakarta. 20,000 angkot per day, you're producing at least around 1 to 3 kilograms of CO2.
Wow.
PLN is, my word, reluctant to basically to give a permission.
Really?
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, the carbonizers, carbon activists, carbon friends all over the world. Welcome back to another episode of Carbon Forum. With me, Poempida Hidayatulloh, as your host always. And today, it's always special anyway with Carbon Forum. And we have already a very distinguished speaker. He's a good friend of mine. He's the son of a one of the most prominent Minister of Environment, Mr. Salim, and his son is Roosdinal Salim. Halo!
Apa kabar? Bro Poempida.
Bro Dina.
Oh, bro.
Hey, Adi. We've been friends for more than 20 years, right?
Almost dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thank you, bro.
And of course, we will be discussing about the transportation because he's now the advisors to the Ministry of Transportation, right? Related to the green transportation or whatever.
Transportasi berkelanjutan.
Okay, please explain to me a little bit about it. What you do.
Jadi Kementerian Perhubungan itu membentuk namanya suatu satgas.
You're not going to speak in English, is it?
Oh, I have to speak in English.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. So, the Ministry of Transportation has set up a task force.
Okay.
Focusing on the how to mitigate about the how to reduce the CO2.
Yes.
In the transportation. So, since the ministry has the central of the transportation, sustainable transportation.
Sustainable transportation.
So that was on their team. And I was in charge to be one of the vice chairman. And the focus is actually how to reduce the CO2 from the Ministry of Transportation itself.
Okay, the emission.
The emission, yes, CO2 emission. And right now we are focusing on the land transportation. Because as you know, in transportation, the most producing CO2 comes from the land, from transportation.
Land transportations, now, which are like motorcycles and cars.
Everything. But the problem, as you know, Bro Pompi, Indonesia, as the government is always not complete on data.
We are very poor in collecting and managing data, right?
And always has the gap on it. Let's say if you have data in kabupaten or regency, goes to provinces and goes to central. It's not connected.
It's not matching,
It's not matching.
It's not coherent for some reasons.
And since right now we are doing the autonomy. So if you have a data in the regency, they have not. They said I don't have to report to the ministry. Because my boss is region.
Yes.
The governor, the provinces, I have to report to the governor. so we have to. So it's like but that's why we are trying to make the data, and right now, hopefully from 0% now it's already in 30%. About the data, what kind of
you mean the 30% collected?
Collected data. What kind of data is it? Is the data of like how much car do we have?
How many cars?
How many cars do we have? And even though cars, you have separate of cars, right? There is two motorbikes,
diesel cars,
everything.
Petrol cars.
It's also complicated. It's like you put coming together and we have to separate it. What is car? What is trucks? So
the classification is not clear.
But now we have a picture that actually the problem for how to reduce the CO2, actually the problem is from the public transportation. Especially in the big city like Jakarta or Bandung. We have an angkot, right?
Yes.
That is a problem because why? That car belong to individual.
Exactly.
So
private sector.
So if we ask them, okay, you switch this into from the fossil into the electric car.
Yes.
And the owner said, well, I don't have money, blah, blah. And that's, in Jakarta itself, we have around more than 20,000 angkot.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
In Jakarta. 20,000 angkot per day, you're producing at least around 1 to 3 kilograms of CO2.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. How can you reduce it? And how long you want to do that?
Yeah.
So that's why we are in discussion with Ministry of Economic and also with the Maritime. Okay, can we basically make it this like a cooperative basis?
Okay.
So they combine it and make it cooperative. So we ask Minister of Cooperative to in charge.
Oh, okay.
But if you think, I don't know what this blah blah.
Yeah.
Government of Indonesia style, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we are doing at the moment, and then basically some of the success story we have already in right track to basically to do like in Transjakarta matter, because Transjakarta is basically a success story about company who actually reducing the CO2.
Yeah. They are having a very one of the best transformations, right? From
and
the fossil fuels to the electric vehicles.
And they are committed to do that.
Yeah.
Also, there's a private sector, but taxi, and they already thinking how to they shift it from the fossil into the electricity. So basically, for that, I see we are on the good hand lah.
Yeah.
But for the tadi angkot, we
still
step by step.
Still trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you haven't actually finished gathering the data yet.
Not yet.
And then, of course, by having lack of data, obviously you're still trying to figure out the strategy to move forward. But let's just simulate on one of the issues related to what to do with the conversions from the fossil fuel to the green ones. We have like electric vehicles where you have to always charge it. And the source of the electricity is still from the fossil fuel anyway.
Yes, that's true.
Or can we actually exercise on the use of hydrogen or any other materials?
In fact, like in the PPTB, the task force, we are discussing two things: hydrogen, and we are talking about also the electricity. But hydrogen is actually things that need to develop more, because somehow
we will be needing some time to set it up.
Because right now the focus of the government mainly in the EV, electric vehicle. But in EV itself, the government is only focusing on the upstream. The downstream is not prepared yet. Such as number one, where do they do the charge? Is like the SPBU, right? Right now we call it SPBKLU. It's very still not a lot in Jakarta or in one big city or whatever it is. That's number one. Number two, for public, the fee, unquote, the fee charged for the charging is expensive. It's like once you click in, it's 25,000 rupiah.
Okay, comparing to where they charge it at home, it's more expensive.
I'm talking about the private, like Transjakarta or like taxi. If they have to charge in the middle of, let's say, street, whatever it is, they have to pay 25,000.
Wow.
Plus the how long they charge it.
It'll take time also.
Of course. So, man, 25,000 is big, if especially for the taxi or for the Transjakarta itself. So that is still need. How do we prepare for this? Number two, the maintenance. Still not clear.
And also, I heard that there is also a problem in jurisdictional sort of issue where PLN, as the monopoly to sell electricity, they are not keen on releasing permits. For example, if you use SPBU, right, it belongs to Pertamina, right? So they don't want to sort of release this right to Pertamina because it is theirs, or something like that. So that's actually complicates the matter, because the asset belongs to Pertamina, but then the licensings and permits and all belongs to the PLN. So
that is one of the case. And case number two, PLN is, my word, reluctant to basically to give a permission.
Really?
Yes, to give permission to
they,
do the.
they got they got an award,
Oh, yeah.
sustainable awards.
Well,
that's kind of sort of
things need to be
paradoxical.
Yeah. So we have to know what kind of the terms they have to. They can get the award. But PLN itself, the problem is like they love basically. Let's do the SBKLU, but we are proposing using the solar panel as the electricity. Do not use fossil.
Yes.
That is reluctant. They said, why? So if you say why, look, you are reducing CO2, but using you are increasing CO2 again. So it's not much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, as back to the data, until today, none in this republic knows how many vehicles we have it already on electricity.
I see.
If you check Ministry of Transportation, if you check the Ministry
right.
SDM, or nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Even the police, they don't know what's in detail. How many EV cars or bicycle cars we have already in Indonesia?
The police should have the data, right? Because
again, you have to ask the police Jakarta, Jawa Barat.
Oh, because it is scattered in terms
so
of
if you ask all is total in Indonesia, don't know yet. So
I see.
We are not confusing the term. Okay, so we have a lot of this, but we don't know how much. Because we have to see, and we have to be sick. Once we know that, we can now we can judge. This is getting bigger and bigger, right? So we need to do something about it.
Right.
But now it's the
well, obviously, you are in a sort of complicated sort of situations now. But of course, you have to entangle these issues.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is, which one is the low-hanging fruit, I would call it, for these to sort of you achieve things in terms of reducing these CO2 emission?
Right now, low-hanging fruits is actually for the transportation matter is how to focus on the motorbikes.
Okay.
Because many companies have set has a factory in Indonesia.
And the government is heavily subsidizing the sales for the motorcycles.
For motorbike, why is low-hanging fruit? We have the factory, we have the battery in Indonesia. So right now, it depends how do we mix it, how do we blend it. So to make it like the demand, because the demand is very high. Because once we have the...
For the motorcycles.
For motorcycle. I'm talking motorcycle first. Because that is actually the most producing CO2. Because you know how many bikes? We have like more than a billion.
Millions,
so that's what I'm saying. So if we begin to do that, then we can make it clear how to reduce the CO2 from the motorbike itself. Okay. So low-hanging fruit is a lot of company in Indonesia, they produce it. The battery they already get, you have to blank it and how to make it both of them attractive.
Yes.
So that's right. I know where we are.
So do you think if this low hanging fruit you can achieve it, then what sort of numbers that you're expecting to reduce the gap of these
number of CO2 or number of what?
Emission of the
right now we have in Jakarta itself, the motorbike we have around more than 10 million motorbikes. But that's surrounding the...
I mean, the population is 10 million.
Exactly.
And Jakarta population is about 10 million.
Exactly.
So there are like 10 millions of motorcycles. So each individual, they have
that
motorbikes.
That motorbike, because we don't have a complete data. But all I know is only about the fossil. So the 10 million motorbike is producing almost what I'm saying, 1 million ton per year of CO2. 1 million ton CO2.
So you need about like 100,000 hectares of 100,000 hectares of forest.
Correct.
To compensate it.
Correct.
Wow.
Now, but Pompey, if you learn about Bangkok, Bangkok has successfully selling their credit to Swiss, to Click Foundation in Swiss.
Yes.
So they are basically already this is for motorbike, this is for electrified bike, this is for truck bus and everything. So they already set it. And they said, this is what we are planning to do, but the problem is they have a complete data. So they can sell it on forward. They are buying the CO2 from Thailand, it's $150. That's a lot of money, man. Even though they only sell 10,000 tons of CO2, not big. But for the breakthrough.
Yes,
Not bad,
that
man.
should be one of the good examples
Yeah.
if we want to sort of follow.
But we have to do it step by step. You cannot make it like, okay, in 1-2 days I can do it. You cannot do that. No.
And you're working in the central government, whereas Jakarta, they have their own sort of autonomical government.
Yeah.
So how do they sort of cooperate with?
This is a good. The funny thing is between central and the provinces is not matched in the term of the methodology. Province, this is the way I think. So we have to make it from the up right to the up left. We have to make it in the middle. That is not easy because egocentric is there, Pompi.
Yes.
Especially with big city, big provinces. Ego-sectoral.
Wow. Well, I wish you all the best, of course.
Thank you,
for your work, and then hopefully you can achieve these low-hanging fruit as soon as possible.
I hope so.
Can you address a few things to the audience related to this issue on the green transformation on transportation?
Yeah, so
by all
folks,
means, yeah.
We have to do it, the transformation for the green transportation ASAP. Because a city like Jakarta, a city like Bandung, they cannot avoid to wait for another 5 or 10 years. Because the CO2 produced in Jakarta and Bandung is already over the target. So by shifting mindset of the producer for the owner, especially a motorbike and electric, cars, we have to make sure that if we don't do it, it will not happen. So please, guys, the only way we can reduce the CO2 is by us shifting our mind. We are not using fossil anymore. We are going for electric or hydrogen.
Excellent. Well, the pollution in Jakarta is unbelievable nowadays.
Exactly.
And
But you see the COVID area, it's clean, right?
Yeah.
That's the fact. So you have the great sample.
Nobody's using the vehicles.
See, that's my point. So you see a great sample. A lot of cars, no cars. So which one are you going to choose?
Yes, I mean, I heard that a lot of children now, they experience a lot of problem breathing because of the pollution is so bad in Jakarta. Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Bobby.
Dinal, and
thanks for your time.
we will be inviting you again in future.
Thank you.
We will be inviting you to join ACHIVE also, the Association of the Carbon Emission Expert.
Love to join.
We will be working together closely related to this transportation issue, of course.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, Bobby.
Well, that was Mr. Roosdinal Salim, a good friend of mine. He just explains a lot of issues related to the transformation from the fossil fuels to the green sort of transportation, and hopefully his effort will be supported by us all, because even though the government is keen on sort of pushing this forward, if we don't actually sort of support them, then there's no point on doing that. So all the best to Dinal, of course. And yes, carbon friends, carbon activists all over the world, decarbonizers. That was one of the interesting episode of Carbon Forum with me, Poempida Hidayatulloh, as your host. Until the next episode of Carbon Forum. Stay tuned. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.